But first to Utah, where Republican Senate candidates squared off in the final debate before the June 26th primary. Former Massachusetts governor and Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney faced off against State Representative Mike Kennedy. Utah is a deep red state, making this Republican primary a de facto general election. Despite that, President Trump is not particularly popular in Utah. In the 2016 election, then candidate Trump won the state with only 45%. That unique dynamic puts Romney in a bit of a bind. President Trump endorsed the Utah transplant in this race, despite some less than kind words from Romney during the campaign.
Here's what I know. Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University. He's playing the members of the American public for suckers. He gets a free ride to the White House, and all we get is a lousy hat.
Joining me now to discuss this race is Salt Lake Tribune senior managing editor Matt Canham. All right, Matt, I want to play a clip from the end of Tuesday night's debate, but first we need some background on who Pastor Robert Jeffers is and how he became a factor in the Utah Senate race.
All right, Pastor Jeffers is from Texas, and he is a volatile speaker who has said some pretty tough things about Mormons as well as Muslims. He has called them a cult. He has said that they are a heresy from the pit of hell. And this is something that obviously a Mormon like Mitt Romney has not taken very well. He has directly called Pastor Jeffers a bigot.
Well, so with that in mind, I'd like to play one of the final moments of the debate, which got a little contentious between Kennedy and Romney.
First of all, I've known the president for a long, long time, and the president has endorsed me in this campaign, which shows he respects people who call him like they see him. Number two, with regards to Robert Jeffers, this is a guy who said that Mormonism is a cult, that it's a heresy from the pit of hell, that Joseph Smith is a servant of Satan. All right, that person is allowed to say that under the First Amendment anywhere they want, and they have the right to do that. But the idea that this person would be chosen by the State Department to represent our nation at the opening of an embassy is simply wrong. And for Representative Kennedy to call him and apologize to him is absolutely inexplicable. Jeffers should be apologizing to Representative Kennedy and to the people of Utah of my faith and other faiths. He said worse about Muslims. When people express bigotry, they ought to be called out for it.
Representative Kennedy, as briefly as possible here, please. My opponent's been quite clear as to the way he stands on things, and he calls them like he sees them, and I just say I'm not sure with President Trump that you see things the right way. I do know some good eye doctors if you'd like to have a referral to get your vision checked, because I think President Trump has been outstanding. He is one of the presidents that we have that actually keeps his promises on the campaign trail, and I'm proud to stand with the president and not deride him publicly. If I disagree with the president, I will do so in a respectful fashion.
All right, so you can see there how Romney's tone about the president is different than it once was and how he gets hammered from the right for it. What kind of line is Romney trying to walk here?
It's a tough one for Mitt Romney in Utah. He doesn't want to completely alienate the president and the president's supporters in the state. Yes, Donald Trump only won with 45%, but there's a big chunk of Republican voters here who want their senator to support the president and the president's actions. So during this debate, Mitt Romney said that he, applauded what the president has done in certain areas like immigration and guns, was a little bit critical when it came to trade. TPP in particular, he thought there should be better trade relations with Asian countries. But when it comes to issues when involving the Mormon Church and criticism of the Mormon Church, this is where you take a pretty hard line as a Utah politician. Calling the pastor a bigot and criticizing the Trump administration for inviting this pastor to be at the opening of the embassy in Jerusalem is pretty safe ground for a politician in Utah.
Well, Mitt Romney, as we mentioned, was governor of Massachusetts, was born in Detroit, and despite the fact that he is not originally from Utah, the latest polling there has had him up 40 points. So what do you make of the carpetbagger criticism? Do you think that's been an effective line of attack against Romney?
It's been at least a persistent line of attack against Romney, both from his Republican challenger as well as the Democrat who's waiting for this primary to end up. That is the one thing you can really attack him on. He does live in Utah. in a suburb of Salt Lake City and has for at least 4 years. He went to school here. He helped lead the Olympics when they were here, but he has spent clearly much more of his life in other parts of our country. But he is a celebrity unlike any in the state of Utah. The first Mormon presidential candidate of a major party. He is very well respected. And I think there's a sizable number of voters, particularly in the Republican Party, who believe that his values line up with theirs, which is why he has such a lead in the polls.
All right, Matt Canham of the Salt Lake Tribune. Matt, thanks very much for your insight. Appreciate it.
Thank you.